What's up? What's up? It's Lord Mav. I'm over here doing it big, keeping it real. You already know. I done forgot how to do the intro because it's been so motherfucking long. But I've been doing a lot of other shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Real Nigga News. Shout out to Black Moon Pack, Black Moon Productions. You already know. I'm over here today. If you hear a little ruffle in the background, that's me trying to get a little joint together. I'm over here today to try to get back onto this shit. You know? To give y'all niggas a little update on what I've been doing. I've been trying to get this little podcast game together with my guys. You know, like I've been saying it for a while now that I wanted to get my podcast game together with my guys. But the issue the issue was really motherfuckers' interest. You know what I'm saying? My dude Christ, he had told me you gotta find your own tribe. You know what I'm saying? He said that one time, and for me it was like, damn nigga, I thought the niggas that was my niggas was my tribe, but at the end of the day, motherfuckers got different interests and different wants and goals for themselves. So it's like you can't really just say, we all gonna do this shit. You know what I'm saying? You need to know if niggas is gonna do it or not. Excuse me. So even now, like, even though I got niggas on some kind of same page, we not on the same page that I was trying to be on. This a brand new page. You know what I'm saying? This ain't even the same page. This might be a brand new book. So that's what I've been doing, man. Check out Run to the Mill podcast. We only got 2 episodes. We got 1 episode up right now. I'm clipping it into parts because I got to do a lot of work with editing. We put an episode up, the first episode, and that shit got taken down immediately. And we did it twice. It got taken down both times. Now, the first time I just put it up thinking that the shit was funny, shit was cool. But the second time, it was like, I put it up the second time knowing for a fact that it was a couple things that they had a problem with. But the issue with it was they don't really tell you what the problem is. They'll tell you that there was a problem, but they're not going to give you the specifics of it. So even when you going into trying to edit the bitch, I don't know if I should have cursed, but I don't care, nigga. This is my podcast. Even when you get into trying to edit the bitch, it's like, what am I even attempting to take out, man? There's something that could have been perceived as misogynistic, right? And personally, based off the topic that we had, I'm gonna just bring up the topic. The question at the time was can a man be a hoe? Or it was are women hoes? You know what I'm saying? Because my fucking thought process was women are hoes. You know what I'm saying? Like the term of a hoe is in my mind specifically geared towards a woman. Now I'm not saying a man can't be the definition of a hoe. I'm just saying you would use different words. In the conversation, we came to talking about, a couple different movies. And my point was just that with every movie that you brought up, it wasn't really a hoe. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to talk about a male gigolo, cool, nigga. But the word that we using is gigolo. So it's like the conversation wasn't even like, oh, women are hoes, right? The conversation was, can a man be considered a hoe based off the word, not of the definition? But either way, if that was the misogynistic part, then I think I censored it or I took that part out, right? Anything other than that had to be done mad at our cursing or mad at our use of the N-word, because we say a lot of niggas. But at the end of the day, it was labeled as hate speech. It was labeled as hateful speech. So I'm like, how is that hateful speech? Nothing that I said was to incite violence. I didn't make any general statements about any goddamn group, right? I made a statement about Whoopi Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the podcast was big enough. I only got 20-something views, and it was only like 10 at the time. I don't think that shit got big enough for Whoopi Goldberg to personally pop up and shut my video down, nigga. That don't make much sense. I say all that to say we only have 1 episode up right now, and I'm going to clip it up just to make sure that the editing is good. But that's the fun part, because I got something going on right now that I can include my niggas in, or that includes my niggas, because it's not like it's mine, it's ours, you know what I'm saying? And I can still do this shit on the side. Not the side, at the same time. I want to get back to this shit, man. Now, it's always been the same problems with me where everything that happens in the news is the shit that happens in the news. The shit that happens in the world is the shit that happens in the world. And when you speak about it, eventually you get tired of speaking about the same things. It becomes monotonous to you. It becomes boring. And you don't want to keep regurgitating the same ideas. But then again, sometimes ideas need to be regurgitated. And then sometimes the small details of what's happening and why it happens is very important. What I'm talking about today is simply the end of America. I wanted to say it so it sounded cool. I made that decision last minute, you can tell. But I'm basically just trying to talk about the end of America. It's a lot of things that's been going on, and for the average everyday motherfucking American, these niggas kind of look at it as if it's all like mistakes or it's all happenstance or this is all cause and effect of things that somebody put into place and they didn't really look into what could happen later. They look at it like that. But for people in the know, you understand that everything that happens, especially within a governmental side of it or a governmental view, is all on purpose. Now, we've had a lot of things going on, and everything that happens in America is kind of like you watch it go down the line of where it's trying to go, right? So the death of America is really coming right now through the destruction of the money. Our monetary system is being destroyed, right? And you also have the public sensibility. Now, the money being destroyed is a simple fucking concept. If you give out money, the same conversation with reparations, and I was just talking to my wife about this today. It was such a big thing that we couldn't give out reparations as a country to black people who are descendants of slaves because it would basically bankrupt the country. That's what they said. And then they turned around and during the pandemic, no matter if you want to say it's needed or not, they simultaneously shut down work and gave out checks to people. So now nothing is really being created, right? The only thing that's really running hot right now is food. That's the only thing that's running. The only industry that's running. And that industry cannot run the same once things open back up. It's not going to be the same type of industry. So they destroyed everything. When you look at what happened, you can't shut down all fucking work and then turn around and give people money and money and money and money and then say the country is still going to be fine in the end. It's physically impossible. They did that shit on purpose because it's no way that they didn't understand that that was going to be the outcome. So once you look at that and you're able to, as an adult, say, okay, I know that if I quit my job, right? So there's no income in the house and I take all of my savings and I give it out to everybody in my building, right? Then eventually I'm going to be broke and I'm not going to have enough money to sustain myself. So if you as an adult can figure that out for your own damn household, why can't the so-called smartest people in the world? And I'm going to keep calling them this as an insult because I think it should take the smartest person in the world or a group of the smartest people to take control of the rest of the people. I'm going to go on a tangent real quick, but you understand how you watch a movie and you see, they say all the time, this is one of their favorite statements, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, right? But then you look at how a country operates. Now that's how things are seen. It's seen by the public as, oh, they fucked up a lot of shit over here, but that's because it's going to be better for more people down the line. But what I see is these niggas making a bunch of decisions that only really benefit them. Now, if they not the few, then I don't know who is. Seems to me like we operate on the needs of a couple of niggas is going to outweigh the rest of the damn world. That's what it feel like. Now back to the destruction of America. The sensibilities for these countries. Now, when I say America, I'm talking about the whole established world as it is today. Because the trust for these countries has gone down. Why? Because a pandemic happened. A fucking virus outbreak happened. Now, no matter if we gonna bring up the fact that the bitch popped up a couple miles from a lab that was testing on it, no matter if we gonna question why the fuck Fauci had some ties to that lab before the shit came out, right? No matter if we gonna talk about how motherfuckers stopped Trump from shutting down travel to China under the guise of racism, which led to more cases of COVID coming over here. See, we're not going to mention none of that because that's all the shit that niggas don't want to talk about. That's all the shit that we can't talk about because people died. Just like 9/11. Don't talk about it because people died, so you're being disrespectful. That means we can't find the truth. Who the fuck killed JFK? It doesn't matter. Somebody died. We shouldn't be questioning what happened. So since the outbreak happened, people have really lost faith in the countries or in the governments that control them because something horrendous happened, right? A fucking tragedy happened, supposedly. And they saying that the people haven't felt like the government had their best interests at heart because it comes out later with the masks and Wearing the mask and social distancing actually fucks up your immune system in a way because you're not coming in contact with the shit that you're supposed to come in contact with, right? And to go on another tangent, guess what? When you look into polio, the shit is caused by contaminated water. And one of the issues with it is that when you have super fucking cleaned out water, right? When it's cleaned of all the shit, when it's sanitized, you taking away the bacteria, right? That you need. You need the bacteria so that you become, you gather some immunity to the motherfucking diseases of the earth, nigga. That's what you need. That's what you need. But they took all that out. And then they took it out and then replaced it with other forms of dirty ass water. You know what I'm saying? So these situations create some of these things. It comes out later that money might have changed hands in some way. It comes out later that Fauci had employment in some sort of way at the Wuhan lab, right? So a lot of stuff comes out and it makes it weird for the average everyday fucking citizen of America. And they start to not trust the government anymore as they used to. Now that, coupled with the fact that the money is going, makes it seem like an insecure situation. Now, when you go back into history, right? And this is why I'm talking about all planned things. Everything is a plan, right? You might think a nigga is making a good decision today or for the betterment of humanity today, but you're going to see down the line how it's all bullshit. You know how we got to the point where today China is at the top? We all know how it happened. Now, the point of it all still is that America is trying to destroy itself because America and the rest of the world put America at the top of the totem pole. So when America is destroyed and we spent the last 20 years having every other country kind of model itself after America, then what are you left with? You're left with an empty void, a vacuum that they're going to try to fill. They're going to try to fill that with a new fucking power that's going to be a combination of a bunch of shit that we all deem is working. And what's working is China, right? What's working for the most part is Russia. What's about to work is Iran with the help of China and Russia. And North Korea is always doing their thing because they completely fucking separate from everybody else. It's smart. It's smart shit. Now, how we got to this point is when America said, we're going to be the top fucking country in the world, but we also going to stop manufacturing shit. Our main fucking, I'm not even going to call it export. Our main fucking business, right? Our main product is other people's products. Our main product is business, nigga. So if you got a business, if you got the most successful business in China, we want to get that shit on the stock market and we want to put money into it. That's going to be our business. You handle the manufacturing. But what's happening at that time is that the manufacturing, right? Now you can look at all of this shit as happenstance, or you could look at it like these niggas had to know that this was the outcome, which means that all this shit is a plan. If you give manufacturing over to other countries, then eventually the manufacturing of things is going to outweigh the motherfucking amount of money that you're about to be making off of that, right? Because we not just dealing with simple things anymore, right? When you hand the manufacturing over to these other countries, more specifically China, then what you're doing is not understanding that the moment that this motherfucking product becomes too outrageous, then they don't need us anymore. And they start doing it themselves. The act of giving this shit over to a foreign country, to give to a country that has a bigger economy, when you think about what's going on, you giving it to a bigger economy, nigga. That means that these niggas is about to make a lot more money off of you. When Chinese people make something and it gets sent over to America, I understand that there's a lot less people in America than in China. But at the time, a lot of Americans had a lot more fucking, just frugal money. We're going to call it that. Americans had a lot more frugal money to buy a bunch of bullshit that nobody needed, right? You could live your life regular or you could live your life extra. A lot of Americans was living their life extra at that time. Was that shit like the 60s? Anywhere from the 60s to 80s. I can't remember which president, fucking Nixon or one of these Lyndon B. Johnson looking ass niggas. I don't know which one of these weird looking white men put this into place that the manufacturing was going to just leave. But they did it, yo. And that's what causes the power struggle that we have today. Now, whatever comes next is going to be deemed to be the right thing. Right? If China is moving off of communism, basically still, the main part of China, and fucking Russia is a dictatorship, right? Now, they done got rid of all the real dictators. Keep in mind that they done got rid of all of the real dictators. There's no more Gaddafi. You know what I'm saying? There's no more Saddam Hussein. There's no more of these niggas who said to themselves, hey, this is my country. I want my country to do good. And I'm going to try to have my country do good. I'm not going to tolerate motherfuckers coming in from other countries to try to take profit from us. I'm not going to tolerate motherfuckers coming in from other countries to try to create some fucking rebel force in my own country to try to overthrow me. I'm not going to tolerate any of that. They got rid of all them niggas. They got rid of all them niggas through public opinion and propaganda and forcing the public of America to say, hey, this shit is crazy over there. Go to war with them. I know we over here and our motherfucking presidents and senators and all the politicians be living good lives while we be living fucked up off the decisions that they make. But I want y'all niggas to go over there and take out somebody else's leader. That shit don't make sense. So the outcome of what we have today is as foreseeable as when America goes in, murders a president or dictator or any type of controller, a king, and or even better, they arm the citizens of the country to go and kill their own leader, right? And then there's nothing left. There's no government left. So the criminals start to take over. The criminals, the ones with the guns, the ones with the excess money, the ones with the people, with the forces, they start to take over. Those two things are as foreseeable as each other, son. That's what I'm trying to say. I ain't do this shit in a long time. Give me a break. Come on. This shit is all for the New World Order. Now, it's sad that this shit is coming, but people really look around like they can't see it. It's sad that this thing was something that was said for so long, and now we see that the powers is about to switch in the world again. It's a lot of interesting things in the world. Just leave me with a lot of questions. I'm trying to stick around to talk about some of this shit some more. I'm going to try to be here more frequently. I got some other shit to do too. And in all honesty, people don't really listen. So it's like the man standing outside saying the world is coming to an end. People been doing that shit, right? They don't do it no more, but they was doing that shit for what? 40 years, maybe more? Right? Niggas been verbally saying it for a longer time. But at the end of the day, like, if every action that's taken by the powers that be is leading up to the outcome that we know the outcome is, the outcome that we keep putting in all the movies, you know what I'm saying? The outcome that we put in all the future movies, where every decision that we make in today is the decisions that they made in the movie, and it led up to the point where everybody was poor but them. If that's the case, then we always lead into the end of the world. So is the man wrong? He might be preaching a little bit too early, but how early is too early to understand that the world is being destroyed by the motherfuckers that's in control of you? Right? It's 400 years. So you could let your whole family line know, and maybe they got enough time to stop it. Is it 200 years to where they could see some of the plans starting to unfold, and then they could maybe gain some more people to help stop the shit since we could see it? You know what I'm saying? Is it 20 years to where we looking around at this shit and now your kids is there and ain't shit you could do about nothing now because y'all done gave the niggas so much control over everything. Y'all done gave these niggas so much motherfucking information. Y'all done gave them your whole life. Signed your children away to these motherfuckers. That's what these socials is and these birth certificates. You done signed your child away to the government the moment that they born. I don't know what happens to the white people in the more wealthy places, but when a nigga child, right, is born at a Negro hospital, when they get there, they taking that placenta, my nigga. They taking that placenta, nigga. You don't even own that. They don't come to you and say, hey, can we have your placenta? No, they take it. If you was to ask them about it, they would say it's medical waste. No, nigga. What the fuck? What am I supposed to do with that, right? Keep in mind this right here. If the placenta, right, if the umbilical cord shrivels up after a certain amount of time, then that means the placenta probably does the same thing. In the natural world, what will we be using to cut that goddamn umbilical cord, nigga? You probably wouldn't be using anything, which means the process is probably, like, thinking about this shit logically, The process is probably you leave that shit on the child until it shrivels up and falls off naturally about a week later, my nigga. Ain't there still nutrients in the placenta? Now, the country is going to take the placenta and use it for a bunch of products that they're going to sell to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, the baby was actually supposed to keep the placenta attached to it because it was more fucking nutrients it was supposed to take from that. You know that because there's still nutrients left in it that you took and used for products, nigga. So you could gain money. So you could try to act like you in control of the earth, like you God or something. You could control aging, you know what I'm saying? Take the placenta and put that bitch in a little bit of cream so motherfucker skin start to plump back up. Bitch, you not God, just cut it out. Let the baby have the placenta until it's ready. You know what I'm saying? Ask me first. Let me know everything. This is another rant, nigga. When I'm at the hospital as a woman, when I'm at the hospital, let me know it's bad for my back to give birth on my back, nigga. Let me know as a woman that it's going to make it harder to deliver the child if I try to deliver this child on my back. Let me know that. And then let me make a decision. I can say it's too painful, I'll lay on my back. Or I'm going to say, hey, if it's better for me and it's going to lead to less back problems in the future, maybe I should just stand up. You know that it's better for me. But in all honesty, it'd be a lot easier for you if we just gave birth on this bed. Right? Because most of the time when you give birth on the bed, whatever mess comes out, it's on the bed, right? It's not on the floor. Nothing splashing. We ain't got to clean that shit up. All we got to do is fold these things up and we got a brand new sheet underneath it. Excellent. Doctor could sit in the chair while you giving birth. You know what I'm saying? Doctor probably ain't sitting in no chair if you squatting. Baby coming out too low. The bed was made so it's right where the doctor needs you to be. Doctor might have to squat a little bit too if you squatting to give that baby to the earth. But they don't give a fuck about that. They'll let you have the back problems. You know what I'm saying? They'll let you go through labor for goddamn 6 hours because you was laying down the whole time. Nigga, you was supposed to be standing up so the baby ready to slide out. You laying down so the baby kind of just sitting in the same position. Now your body got to do extra work to get the baby out. This is all logical shit that we know that we would see if we was logical. But instead, we listening to these niggas who don't do nothing but lie to us. We listen to these niggas that set up something to be destroyed just so they can make the next shit more strenuous for us. They set this shit up. Like, when you think about what America is, they built this shit just to take control of the earth so that when it fucks up, everybody goes, hey, this is exactly what we don't need. We need control over us. But guess what? It's not going to be old control. Because now America is fucking up in a time where there's cameras everywhere. The weaponry that the government have, all governments, the weaponry that all governments have right now is insane. It's crazy forms of surveillance. It's crazy methods of DNA tracking and shit like that. The brainwashing on the level of getting us hooked on these phones and electronics and the internet, making it an integral part of our life. And then spying on us through all of that shit. This the fucking Endgame. I'm Lord Mav. This real nigga news. I'm out. Peace.
Niggas hit you with that anesthesia, put you to sleep, bruh. You know it's the killer nigga woods where we creep, bruh. You know that my ninja they could push like a Jeep, bruh. Catching niggas for days, no rest, Mav the Reaper. Muscle memory and my cells clap like a sleeper. Swim through money, I need a cell, these rivers deeper. My niggas got bonds, no better when shit go heater. Hammers banging, we bleed, your bodies everywhere, FEMA.